Welcome to the Strength Students Podcast, episode number 14. We're here in Newtown, Connecticut, CrossFit Redzone with Kris Kling. How you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. So we're here today to learn about, mainly about you, what you're doing in CrossFit. You're doing a lot of big things. And then about, some things you're doing with training and how you kind of mix up training, keep it fun and things like that. So
yeah.
Glad you got to have us down. We were kind of talking before how this place is improved so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much bigger than when I was here the first time.
Yeah. Amount of work here is just ridiculous.
Yeah, even in
busy.
a month, like the front office, I was like, "Where is this the right place?" It looks great.
Yeah,
it
thanks,
looks
man.
awesome.
Thanks. A lot of hard work. My brother's done a lot of it. He's flying like crazy through it.
Well, so you and your brother own it, right?
Yep, co-owners.
Okay, cool. So kind of give us a little of your background. Obviously we kind of went over who you are. Just give us a background of what you're doing in coaching and what you're doing at this gym and things like that, and where you're doing competing for yourself as well.
Of course, yeah. So basically, it all kind of started. It's probably now 5 years now where this place we first opened up in a shoebox size little lot in a
classic
back road. Actually, the very beginning, my brother Kurt got out of the Air Force and he was training me and my buddies. As you see, the wrestlers behind us, they were all just walking up to my parents' house and we built this random pull-up bar out of wood and a steel plate. And he was like, "Yeah, guys, let's start working out." And I was like, "I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I'm not gonna mess around with that." And I did. I was studying kinesiology in college, and I was like, it's probably not bad to have if I'm gonna try to be a trainer one day. And I kept kind of doing it. Also, next thing you know, I was like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna go get a certification. This shit's awesome." So went out and got certified. Found in the local CrossFit gym down at school. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, come on in. Come be a trainer." I was like, "All right." Became a manager there eventually. And then he walked up to me one day. He's like, "I'm tired of working for some dude." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you've been a manager at Norwalk for 2 years." He's like, "No, I'm tired of it."
And this is your brother saying
Yeah, this is Kurt. Yeah, and he's like, "I'm tired of being a manager over at Norwalk." And I'm like, "Well, I get out of school in 6 months. What do you want to do?" He's like, "Open up a gym." I'm like, sure, let's try it. And my parents were very supportive. My girlfriend at the time, very supportive. And they're like, "Yeah, go do it. CrossFit's blooming. Why not get in the market now?" So we're like, "All right."
Got smart parents.
Yeah. This is 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was this is going to be our 5th anniversary this April, yeah.
So and that's CrossFit Hartford. They just celebrated their 5.
Yeah.
And I feel that 5 years ago was a solid sweet spot to open a gym in a solid area.
Definitely.
Do you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, we were nervous at first because the year before, when we were kind of talking about it, that 6-month period, we were like, "Oh man, we might have missed it." We know a couple gyms we go to that are already reached their capacity, and we're like, we're like, "Let's go for it." So we opened up as soon as possible. And we're like, "Oh, we didn't miss anything. This is good."
Not at all, man.
Good choices.
I remember 5 years ago. 5 years ago was 2011. I remember just hearing about CrossFit Milford.
Yeah, exactly. Just hearing about it.
That's going on their website. I seeing them do 5-3-1 that I was doing in college. Oh, this is cool. This is awesome. Oh my God, this is something I'm going to try.
Yeah, that's why I feel it was such a sweet spot though, because it had already been around for a few years and it was starting to build some sort of people are like, "What the fuck is CrossFit? What the hell is that?" Mm-hmm. But it wasn't to that level yet that it is now. So I feel that's why I was kind of 5 years ago, that sweet spot of all right, I'm going to open a gym. And I feel that was
that was definitely
perfect
the time.
spot for you guys.
And I mean, we were planning to be at that small space we were at for 2-3 years. We're we got to take it. It's real small. It's 1,800 square feet, but you got to do what you can.
Right.
About 9 months into it, we were like, "Crap. It's too small." We're our clients were like, "There's a hole in the wall." We're like, "Oh, that's because a 10-person class is literally busting through the wall." All right. So we even had to redo a whole wall in the place of plywood because the barbells were just flying through sheetrock. And
was that a part of the WOD?
Yeah. Just throw it.
Barbell throws through the wall.
Yeah, it was to the point where our landlord was like, "Guys, you're outgrown the space. What do you want to do?" And we actually were like, "Oh, well, the space down the street opened up." And he was actually nice of us. He was a client of ours, and he was like, "Yeah, go for it." He's like, "It's a business move. You got to go." So.
And that's this spot right here?
Yeah, that's this spot now. Nice. So, I mean, quadruple the size, and definitely was the best move we could have done for our business.
Yeah,
so.
For real.
And then from there, we opened up. We were like, "Well, we can't just be CrossFit. What else can we do? Can I do as a coach that I do as an athlete that people kind of view?" And we kind of had a bunch of meetings, and he's been always strong, and I've been just like that little guy that's been like fast twitch muscle, like strong, explosive. And we're like, you know what? Let's start a weightlifting club too. Like,
hell yeah.
You know, that like all the people are watching Olympics now. Like CrossFit is like, how good are your Olympic lifts? So
CrossFit's done so much for the sport of Olympic weightlifting.
yeah, it's insane.
And even like I was just listening to Mike Bergner talk about how like, and he's a huge like he's CrossFit weightlifting, like he's big into CrossFit,
Mm-hmm.
and his big thing was like, man, membership has soared with the USAW. Like it was on the verge of
Gone. It was,
Not being around.
in the mix of not being there anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now there's Olympic lifting gyms opening up, just like CrossFit gyms were back like 5 years ago, like we said. Like,
I don't want to butcher the numbers, but he said something like, since CrossFit has kind of like adopted Olympic weightlifting, the membership for USAW went from like 5,000 to like 50,000.
I honestly,
crazy.
I don't even think you're wrong. Like,
I think that's the actual figure. Actually,
it's insane.
Something like that.
It's like we since we started the weightlifting club, like it was so quiet at first.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, you know, like whatever. Like we would follow like the USAW Open and stuff like that. Like that's like their entry level. Like you have to qualify to get there.
Right.
And I think like someone was telling me one day they had like 3 sessions, A, B, and C, and each one had like 10 lifters in it. So then this year we're like, let's send as many people as we can. Like it's finally growing. And we just got a packet the other day of 19 pages on a spreadsheet. And like, yeah, it's a 4-day event now. We're like, it's 4 days.
Holy crap.
Like,
Just
yeah,
an Olympic weightlifting meet?
Exactly.
Holy
and I'm like,
shit.
oh my gosh. I'm like, well, what session am I? They're like, well, it goes through F and you're in B. And I'm like, there's F? Someone told me D was the last thing. They're like, oh yeah. And they expanded to like 10 each session. I'm like, there's so many lifters. And now they just, last month we just found out they opened up a new weight class for the women too. So like this thing is blooming,
Oh,
and it's
damn.
like when you said that number, I'm not shocked at all about it.
It's crazy, yeah.
We were laughing the other day. I'm like, we're just literally going to sit there for 4 days,
Right.
watching 3 different platforms of people lift.
That's
I'm like, this is not
insane.
CrossFit.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I feel like, too, you could look at it from 2 different ways, and I feel like people have 2 different perspectives on it. Because a lot of people see CrossFit more than weightlifting.
Yeah.
And so they'll see weightlifting in CrossFit and be like, oh, that's CrossFit. But weightlifters will be like, no, that's weightlifting.
Yes, exactly.
And so a lot of
Russians will
weightlifters
be like,
kind of say
listen.
CrossFit personally.
yeah, exactly.
We were doing this years ago.
What
and so
did
I-
they do differently?
Yeah, right. And so I understand how weightlifters will be like, no, it's not CrossFit, it's weightlifting. Like, fuck all you people. But you also have to understand, okay, but your sport was dying.
Yes,
And
exactly.
CrossFit brought a lot of attention back to your sport. So it's kind of like a two-sided.
Right, there's no like we talked about in our last episode. I used to go and buy Flex magazine and do whatever the bodybuilders did. Like, there's no really Olympic weightlifting magazine you go buy at Walgreens and you go, I'm going to do this workout today.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that guy in the singlet. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, so it's interesting how it's so weightlifting is kind of your jam. Like you love weightlifting.
Yeah, this is actually the first year that I kind of took it to the weightlifting field. I was always like, you know what, like CrossFit, that's it. I was like, if I get strong in CrossFit, whatever, you know, I would love to be that strong CrossFitter.
Right.
And especially over the past 2 years, you know, people would come up to me, they're like, how much do you weigh? You're like 200, right? I'm like, nah, 185 to 190 usually. Like, but you lift like as much as like a 215 pounder. I'm like, well, you know, it's kind of what I specialize in. Like,
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
favorite thing. Like, if someone walked up to me and told me like I was weak, I would be pissed. Like, if someone was like, hey, your cardio is really good, but you're like 150, right? I'm like, oh no, that's not right.
You're like, I'm going to strangle you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna choke you right now. So yeah, this year after the CrossFit Games, I was like, you know what? I want to just take a couple months to have some fun and just lift. I was like, let me see what I can do. And actually, one of our buddies here, Ken, one of the trainers, he was like, yeah, just lift with me, be in my weight class, we'll have some fun. So I did my first weightlifting meet, and I qualified for the American Open and nationals for my weight class.
After your first weightlifting
Yeah,
meet?
so I was like, oh, sweet, this thing's fun.
Not bad, dude.
Yeah.
You and Nate Pagan.
Yeah, seriously.
Bunch of losers.
freaks, man.
What are your best numbers, best snatch, best clean and jerk?
So I still am not good with kilo conversion, but
Same.
It's all right.
exactly. Kilos. No. So for my pounds, I have a 300-pound snatch and a 365 clean and jerk.
Holy cannoli. Holy shit, dude.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah,
For
thank
being
you.
187, that's pretty fucking impressive. Damn. And so you qualified for the American Open and what else?
And nationals. Yep.
So did you go and compete?
The American Open's coming up. I think I go like December 11th.
Oh, for this next American
Yeah,
Open. Okay,
yeah,
I
for
thought
this
you meant
next
the
one.
last one. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So I'm definitely doing the Open. I already signed up for that.
Fuck
I have
yeah,
to,
dude.
I have to decide on Nationals. It's like a 2-week span. There's like the Nationals, and then there's CrossFit Regionals. So if I make it to Regionals this year, it's like I have some decisions to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it would probably have to be CrossFit. It would have to, like, if
You
I
would choose the CrossFit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. It's just, I don't think I could pass up that invite. It's like,
Got you.
the top 20 make it. You're going to be that guy to pass it out? Like, no, I'll take it. So,
please.
For weightlifting, where are Nationals and American Open? Where are they?
The American Open is in Orlando, and I think Nationals are in Texas.
It's in
Okay,
Houston,
cool.
right?
Cool.
Yes, yeah, that was it. Yeah,
I've seen. I know. I actually got an answer right for weightlifting. I pay attention. I read.
So we kind of talked a little about coaching, and you mentioned some things about your personal competing. You mentioned going to regionals. Talk about your CrossFit competing and where you compete and things like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, 4 years ago is when I really started, and I was training with Kurt, my brother, all the time, and he had this coach Jason Laydon, and
Heard of him?
Yeah, I think some people might have heard his name before.
Nah.
And Kurt was just always doing his workouts, and I was like, oh, can I get some workouts, Jay? And he's like, yeah, just do what your brother does. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in that corner over there. So I did that for a year, and then after the CrossFit Open one year, he was like, hey, how'd you place? And I was like, oh, I think I got 80th. Yeah, I was like, it's not that great. And he's like, oh, hey, do you want me to start programming for you? I think we could do something for you. I'm like, oh, I didn't ask a year ago, but yeah.
That's hilarious. Do you kind of bust his chops about that?
I try to all the time. So then now I've been full on his programming now for 2 to 3 years.
Word.
And last year he was like, dude, your performance is doing really well, but I just kept choking on the Open. I was like, every time the Open came up, I was a nervous wreck, and they would take the top 20, I would be 30th. If they took the top 40, I was 45th. It was obnoxious how I was missing this bubble every time. And he was like, have you ever thought about going team? And I was like, no. I was like, I really want to go by myself. He's like, just think about team. So he asked me 2 years ago to be on his team, and I turned him down. I was like, no.
Return the favor. Remember when you wouldn't give me programming?
Exactly, yeah, dude, just fix your own stuff. No. So he asked me 2 years ago, and I was like, no, I want to give it another shot as an individual. I ended up missing it by 10 spots, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Every time the big show comes up when it's individual, I don't do well. I was like, I kind of want to try this team thing out. I want to see how it goes. And that year, actually, they took second place in the games, and I was sitting in the back of my room, punching myself in the back of the head, idiot, you missed your shot. So I actually went that year to watch the games, and he approached me. He's like, all right, so now watching, are you going to do it next year with us? I'm like, yes, please.
So you went to watch?
Yes,
okay,
exactly. I was like, yes, please.
I picture you in the stands, some dude next to you yeah, Chris, imagine the idiot who chose to not go with these guys. You're like, yeah, what an idiot.
That loser. Yeah, that was, man, there were literally people, I remember we're sitting there, Kurt came too, and they'll be like, man, I just want to be there. And I'm like, yeah, me too. I was like, oh, I missed that chance. So yeah, he asked me. I said, yeah. He was like, all right, come October, you're full time. I want you there all the time. So I went 3 days a week.
Training, you mean under Coach Laydon?
Yeah,
okay,
always
cool.
under him. Yep. And he was like, be prepared for obnoxious amount of workouts. He's like, I'm going to keep you intact. He checked on me every day. He's like, how do you feel today? How do you feel today? How do you feel tonight? It's just, he's very much on the mindset of the athlete, not just giving workouts like crazy. I'll be like, I feel great. Why did you only give me one workout today? He's like, because you looked like shit yesterday. I'm like, oh, I didn't think so, but okay, thanks, man. So
that's so valuable.
But that's why you got to coach, because otherwise you would have said, I feel great today, and maybe you would have dug yourself a deeper hole and you're like, I'm going to do 2 more workouts today, and then it would just keep going.
And then next thing you know, it's you don't even want to work out. It's
right?
crazy.
Yeah,
but
your
him specifically, even though Jay, he and I don't know him personally, but just hearing different shows and things and stuff like that, he's very big on individually tuning into the athlete.
And he's very psychological when it comes to that stuff. He's not just anyone can program. Anyone can make up a workout. Anyone can look up and research all this stuff. He puts in the time to read novels on your athlete's mindset. So last year I thought it was so cool. We had the strongest mindset of any other team in the Northeast, I thought. we were in regionals and we made like the biggest mistakes in the first workout.
You mean this past year?
Yes, this past year. Yeah.
Oh,
So
you guys came back and Black
almost
qualified,
yeah,
right?
Almost.
And
Yeah.
almost red.
We took third in that region. We went into the last workout in first. We just knew that last workout wasn't our cup of tea.
Right.
But
But both those teams almost qualified.
Yeah, exactly.
Was
Red
it,
and Black, your two teams.
Exactly.
Red
They were
was
right on
Red.
the line.
Red's the team. They came in 6th, right?
Yeah, Red
They were
took
right
6th.
there.
They were like right.
They were right there. Yeah, it's crazy. I was there.
Right.
It's
Oh,
nuts.
it was insane. So, just the whole mindset last year was literally just train. Like life was CrossFit,
Word.
nothing else. So it was just a matter of how much can I push myself and not let anybody distract me. I was like, I look back at it and I was like, I was one selfish prick. Like, I was like, if someone came up to me like and I was working, I was like, not now, I got to finish. They're like, oh, well, I just had to, I'm like, once I finish the workout, I'm good to, like,
Right.
no excuses to be like, oh, well, why didn't you work out that day? Like, wake up Sunday 6 a.m. and go train over at Milford. Like, it was just life.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, so it was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so, just kind of recapping. So it's been 4 years for you training CrossFit.
Yep, 4 years now competitive CrossFit.
Total, like just training CrossFit or with Coach Laydon.
Coach Laydon, this is like 3.5. Yeah, I went like a whole year without him.
So this past year was your first time on the team?
First year on the team. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the other previous years I kept trying to go individual and just kept missing it by like that inch.
And you were on. So they have two teams, right?
Yep. So there was Team Black and Team Red. I was on Team Black.
You're on Team Black,
we made it
okay.
to the games. Yeah.
And not to but Black team is the A squad, right?
Yeah,
and,
it was A
and
team,
Team
yeah.
Red is kind of the second squad.
Yep.
They have. Okay, so you were on Team Black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And so you guys went to the games this year.
Yeah.
So talk about that, man. Talk about that experience.
That was insane. That's always been a goal of mine, and I was like, I don't just want it once. Like, I just want to keep going there. Like, enough. I was like, people were like, oh, well, you made it. Are you going to go have fun? I'm like, no. Like, why the hell am I going to go have fun there? Like, that's like, oh yeah, I made the Super Bowl. Let's go lose. I want to go and I want to like train the hardest. To get, like,
Good
to
point.
That point.
Yeah, that was a good analogy.
So,
yeah, definitely.
when we got to the games, it was like surreal. Like you walked in, like Reebok welcomed you with open arms. They were like, come check in today. And like you walked in like to this tent that it looked like there's like a carnival tent outside. And you walk in, you're like, oh, this is a house. Like this is like insane, like carpet and like AC. And you're like, okay. And like these people are measuring you. And I'm like, this is like really insane. Like this feeling. It's like, oh, they actually like care about you. Like all this
Right.
hard work is like paying off like all this stuff. And then I was like, you know what? Like we had like a meeting right afterwards. Like it's not about like the gear. It's like now we get to go like take that like that feeling of like you're up there and show that you actually are.
Right.
So like going out there though, like we got out that first day in California where there's like completely different. They're like, yeah, it's Team Murph. And we're like, oh guys, we're in great shape. Like we're good for this. And they're like, there's an hour and a half time cap. And you're like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? They're like, yeah, it's gonna hurt. We're like, oh, we'll be fine. Like 30 minutes into it, I look up at like the big, like we're on the soccer stadium. We look up, and it's like 35 minutes in. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. I was like, this is not good. I was like, I've never had a workout. Like no matter how hard our training got, like nothing was compared to that workout. And like we finished, and I was like, all right, I can't feel my legs. My back is hurting. This is great.
Like this is the first workout. Awesome. This
Exactly.
weekend's gonna be
Good
awesome.
start.
Yeah.
Oh, and it started at 8 p.m. at night. So that was like another great thing. So like we were like sitting there all day nervous, and they're like, oh, by the way, they flew the individual athletes like to I forget where they flew them to, but they came back like, oh, we came a little late.
The old ranch.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, the old
Cashew's
ranch.
old ranch. Yeah.
So they were like, oh, we're running a little late, so we're gonna push you guys back like an hour. And we're like, oh, okay. So like it's getting dark out. And we're sitting on the soccer field and like just dying on the field. And we had our physical therapist work on us that night and everything. And like the next morning, you just wake up. You're like, all right, this is definitely the hardest competition I've ever done. Like I couldn't feel my legs, and like you have to go out and do 3 workouts right now in a matter of 3 hours. And you can't let anything go to waste. Like you have to do well. So after the first day, we didn't do too well. The second day, we started having a little bit of a comeback. It was a swim workout. And then after that, we were just climbing back up the whole time. And I always tell people I hate making excuses, but like the last workout, we were 12th going into it, and we were like 10 points out. And we knew the top 10 teams make it to the tennis stadium that day. That's like the finals.
The final
yeah,
workout. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, you know what, guys, we're going to go out there and we're going to crush this last workout. And, like, it was in our wheelhouse. We're like, handstand push-ups, like, sled drag. Like, we're going to crush this thing. and just the judge we had, we've never heard of rules that they were making up. Like, I've been in CrossFit now for, like I said, 4 years.
Right.
And I never knew in a handstand that literally every single point of your body had to be straight. You know, like, oh, well, we're pushing our head through and we're locked out. And the guy's like, no, your hips have a curve to them, to our girls. And we're like, that's not a standard, you know? And, like, you look over and teams next to us are just going. And we're like, they're doing the same thing. Like, and you're giving them that. So, like, we actually had to, like, hold one of our guys back from, like, yelling at the judge. We're like, we're not like that. We're like, come on, dude, like, relax. And then afterwards, we took, like, 30-second in that workout. And we're like, we never did that bad in a workout.
Man.
So we never got time capped all week until that last one. We're like the horn went off. We're like, what's that? You know, like, time cap.
Is it lunch?
Yeah. Is it dinner? Yeah. Oh, are you yelling at him? Is that they were like, no, that's time cap. We're like, I can't believe that. And, like, that's, like, the worst part about, like, the whole point of the games was, like, amazing. Like, every aspect of it, like, amazing. It just left a sour taste in our mouth, like, that last bit.
Maybe you need that.
Exactly. It makes you hungry.
Yeah,
it really does. So.
It's so interesting, man. Across the spectrum of sports, it's like the ideal and the principle and the entity of the referee or the judge is always a variable.
Oh,
Whether it's like football, and everyone wants to everyone always likes to say, like, oh, the ref did this or the judge did that. But at the same time, it's like, it's that variable, man. It's just a variable that it's you never know how it's going to go. You know, and it's going to always be, especially in a sport like CrossFit, man, like in a sport like basketball, football, it's everyone gets the same refs or ref, right?
Oh, yeah.
In your sport, it's everyone gets a separate judge. Like, you have your judge and that's it.
It's crazy.
And that just leaves so many more variables on the table.
Even, I mean, even to play on that even more, I mean, like, I'm a grid, so Boston Iron Team. I've been part of that now for 3 years. And this past season, we actually made it all the way to the finals. But, like, even that sport, it's like, the previous year, 2 years ago, we were in the semifinals, and it came to a point where, like, this judge, like, just didn't call no rep, and no one saw it. Like, it was a no rep, like, correct, but no one saw, like, he didn't say, like, didn't give the guy the rep, and, like, move on to the next stations. We finished the race, and also it was like, it felt like a Hollywood film. Like, you're, like, watching it, and we're like, we won the race, and also, like, the camera zooms in on the one guy, and he's just sitting there, like, his finger still up for, like, one rep.
Shit.
And you're like, what's that guy doing? You know? Like,
Is he pointing to God?
He says we're number one. We're number one. We won.
Number one. And then goes to find out, I guess, he no-repped our guy, and we're like, wow, you know what? It's like, you know, like you said, like, you don't want to look back and be like, oh, well, that judge, like, yes, we could have won so many of those other, like, events in that race that we could never even give the big, oh, well, he messed up, we still won, whatever, you know. But it's just it's crazy how sometimes it's just on the line.
Right.
So what was CrossFit Milford, your team's mind, like, how'd you guys feel after that? It was the last workout the year before, you come in second, and now you're finished the workout 32nd. What was the thought there?
It was rough. It was definitely a quiet day that day. Definitely.
Yeah.
It was hard for us, especially, like, the guys, because we were all new to the team, and the two girls on the team were on that team the year before that got second. So I felt like I let them down at some point.
Right.
And, you know, it was crazy. Like, it went from, you know, regionals and training. Everything was always about fun. Like, if someone walked in, they're like, oh, you know, Kurt, Logan, and Chris are here. You know, it's going to be a fun day. Like, we hated training in, like, this dark mindset. Like, everything had to be smiles. So then, like, as the games kind of progressed and we kind of saw, like, you know, everyone's getting in that zone, you're like, all right, this is game time. Like, no more joking around. Like, this is it. Like, it's still fun, but, like, no more joking around. Like, go out there and murder everybody. Like, you got to beat everyone. And then, like, that last workout, like, you look at your teammates and they just won't even look up at, like, any other teammates. And you're like, wow. You know, like, we all let each other down. Like, it was just, like, the feeling wasn't, like, satisfied of the games. It was like, shit, you know? So
imagine the fuel that's going to add, though, for your training, your guys' training this year.
So
you know?
much.
That's all you're going to think about.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to think about. It's going to fuel you, and you're probably not going to sleep.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, it was, especially afterwards. Yeah, it was definitely not easy. You know, I came back home and everyone's like, how was the games? And I'm like, it was good. They're like, what are you going to do next year? I'm like, don't talk about it. I was like, I'm going to just be the most competitive I've ever been. Like, I was like, I don't know what way, shape, or form that's going to be, but I was like, I'm going to take a couple months to myself, not answer any questions to anybody. I was like, and then when January 1 hits, everyone will know what I'm going to do.
Word.
Right.
Yeah,
so.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was your, whether it be a workout or so, what was your favorite part of the games this year?
Oh,
like, most memorable, like, Did you see Matt Frazier naked? Like, what?
Say yes. Say yes.
I saw Nip.
I saw he forgot. It was in the ice bath. No, it was which workout? There were a couple workouts that really stood out to me. The 3-man team with the deadlifts, the handstand walks, and that was like epic. Like we never even thought of like a workout like that. And then another one I had was the we really came together as a team for this one. Guy-girl combos had to move through like a ski erg, double unders, and overhead squats and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one, yep.
And it was just different as you move through it. And like it was kind of like a ladder series. Like they call it a waterfall. As one partner finishes, the next 2 partners can go. And
okay.
So we're sitting there, and like we had like a little mini panic in the middle of it. There was muscle-ups. And the guys and girls both kind of like started messing up on these synchronized muscle-ups. And we all thought, we were like, here we go again. Another one we messed up on in the games. And something just clicked. Like, we all looked at each other, and, like, it was just like, we had this look, like, no one's going to fucking stop us. Like, this is our time to, like, rise. If we don't, our games experience is over. So we literally, like, just silently just moved through. We got onto the rower the next station. Also, next thing you know, like, we hear the guy, like, chanting, like, the MC's going, like, and Milford Black in first in their heat. And we're like, oh, we're not doing too bad then. Like, and it really fueled us to the point, like, we finished with, like, these overhead squats. And my partner and I just looked each other in the eye, and, like, everyone was dropping the bar. And we're like, we're doing all 10 unbroken. We don't care how heavy it is. Like, it had to be synchronized. And we just looked at each other, not a single word. Like,
wow.
It was Courtney and I. And we're like, we're doing this. We finished it. And everyone was going crazy because then the 2 people behind us got to start their rower and everything. And, we're like, well, we think we did well. And next thing you know, we get back afterwards, and everyone's like, you took 5th. Like, out of 40 teams and the fittest in the world, you took top 5.
Wow.
Like, obviously, yeah, we would have loved first, but it's like, you know what? That means we do have the capacity to do what we want. And that fueled us it was a pretty good moment. Like,
that's an incredible accomplishment, man.
Exactly.
And especially not to, talk down on the state we're from, but, man, being from Connecticut, like a lot of, like, California, Texas, these are big sports, big athletes, produce big athletes.
Yeah.
Like, for Milford, Connecticut to be the 5th best team in the country, like, that's big, man.
Yeah, so that was...
Connecticut is not like a hub of, like, not traditionally known to be.
Yeah, it's not like you're watching the NFL and it's like, oh, out of Connecticut. Like, no, you don't hear that very often.
It's like there's southern states or western
exactly.
states.
Texas,
that's pretty much
Texas. Oh, that guy's from Mississippi. Texas.
Right.
So it's just crazy to think of it like that. So that definitely was like the mind switch of that week.
Nice. So what do you think chances of this next year, you guys getting into the games, and what's your kind of prediction for CrossFit Milford this year?
I think they're going to have 2 teams go. I really think so.
So you think this will be the year?
Yeah, I
nice.
think Jay's on that mindset. When he gets something
you
in his head.
You guys are fucking rolling over there, man.
When he gets in that mindset, he's going to get it done. So
Word.
He's done an okay job so far.
Yeah, exactly. I
think he'll pull it off.
Hashtag future guest.
Yeah, exactly.
You hear that? Hear that, Jay?
All
Jay,
right.
calling you.
So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk to Kris about how he kind of varies his training and keeps it fun for him and his clients too.
Great.
All right, quick break.
All right.
Want more of the Strength Students podcast? Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and on Stitcher. Stitcher, I just met her.
Yeah, so how I make training fun.
Wait, hold on. Don't go yet.
Yeah, not yet.
I got to reintroduce us.
Yeah.
What's up?
All right, guys, welcome back. We're here.
Back.
We're here in CrossFit Redzone, Newtown, Connecticut.
CrossFit Redbeard.
CrossFit Redbeard.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it.
So something we kind of talked about off the air before was something you voiced to us about making training a little more fun for yourself. So just talk a little bit about that. Like what are some things you're doing now to make training fun for yourself? It sounds like you've competed at the highest level of the sport, and it sounds like that competing at that level maybe isn't so fun.
Yeah.
Like training and competing at that level could get very serious and intense. So
yeah, it's some people could say it's literally like the most taxing thing on your mind. Like eat, sleep, live CrossFit Games it's a lot on your mind. So
yeah,
especially like now looking at training afterwards, it's just like, how can you make it fun? All right, well, during my warm up, I just have to do something fun. If I go on the rower and I'm going to sprint as hard as I can for 5 seconds to see if I can make the rower end exactly on 100 and do that like 10 times, I'm going to do it. Just like make myself sweat. Like I throw swimming into my weeks now. I'm like, I suck at swimming.
Drew does the same thing now.
Yeah,
it's weird. He does it at the YMCA.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
For a CrossFitter, I'm good at swimming.
Right.
For a swimmer, I'm like a joke. It's like I go to like the YMCA every Tuesday, Thursday, and it's like I look around and this guy like is like 80 years old and overweight, and he's swimming for like a half hour, and I'm in the pool for 10 minutes, and I'm like grabbing the edge.
God.
I'm like, guys, I did it. I did 20 laps, and the guy's like, I did 60, and you're like, oh. All right, get up out of the pool and rock. It's like I'll beat you.
What's your squat?
Exactly. So just finding new things all the time. Like, Jay does
a little
such
more
good job.
variation.
Yeah, Jay throws it in so much too. He'll even be like, "Don't go into this workout all out. Just have some freaking fun. Don't even start the clock. Tell yourself you're not going to touch chalk
that
this
one.
time.
I like that one. Don't even start the clock.
Just anything.
Like it.
The amount of times like after the games I went outside and did a workout, just like. It's so different, just be like, I'm going to go outside and lift today. It's like, really? It's like, yeah, why not? I brought like a barbell home one time. I was like, I'm just going to walk downstairs and do a workout there. It's not like getting out of the gym environment was like just huge. It's like if I had to drag something outside to go do it, I did it. If, I had to beg 10 people in the gym to come do it with me, just the feeling of not doing it by yourself was huge. And not until like recently, the past couple months, past couple weeks, I should say, I was like, you know what? I'm back at that mindset where like I could wake up in the morning and I'll sit on the rower for like a half hour. I'll lift for a while, and that like the fun aspect that is my fun. If you don't tell me, for time, I want to know your time, like that makes pressure on me. If you don't say it, I'm going to have fun with it. And some people hate it. Some people absolutely love it when I'm at the gym because it's like, oh my God, this guy's always like, I'll freaking put on Disney music. Like someone walk around, they'll be like, who the hell has like Tarzan on? I'm like, that's me. Like, why? I'm like, you try to max out while listening to Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid and tell me it doesn't make you smile. And, like, you're weird. I'm like, yeah, it's me. I'm like, so.
You heard it here first, folks. Training secrets.
Under the Sea.
If you want to max out, Little Mermaid.
Exactly. Watch out. So it's funny, I tell people, and they like my buddies here too, they'll help me out all the time. Like if they see him like stressing out, like so we just did like some max lifts and stuff like that the other day. Like I was doing a 2K row time trial, and in the middle of it, there's like I looked miserable. So one of the guys went up and put Lilo and Stitch soundtrack on, and I really just started laughing in the middle of the row. But like it was a PR by 3 seconds. And I'm like, wow, I've never, usually when I'm, about to do 2K row, I put my headphones on. I'm like, no one freaking talk to me. Like, I'm about to go kill this freaking rower. This time, halfway through, someone turns on, a song to make me laugh. And next thing you know, I have fun the next half hour, or half of it. And I'm like, shit, I just PR'd my 2K row. That's something I've been testing for 4 years, and I thought I would never beat it.
It's something that it happened while you were having you didn't even notice it happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
All these times you're trying to make it happen, and the one time you're like, I'm just not gonna let it happen, and it happens.
Exactly. it's just the way it works. So like I said, some people don't like it. During the games training and stuff. Like some people that were there to support us, that would work out with us, they'd be like, wow, Kris and Kurt, they just fuck around all the time. I'm like, yeah. I do. How else am I supposed to work out 6 hours a day and be brick face, I'm gonna murder
serious.
you. You guys know Drew. Ask Drew. We make sure we have fun with it. Drew is always he's competitive too. He's gonna have fun with it. There were times we would sit there and we would be lifting bars next to each other, and I'd miss one. I'd be like, wow, you suck. And it was oh, damn it. It's Drew outlifted me today. It's son of a bitch. It's you just have fun with it. And, a lot of people grasp that concept. Some people don't. But, to me, it's if I'm not having fun with it, then why put my body and my mind through this misery? It's a stress. The people always say the amount of working out you do is a stress. It's a stress reliever for a lot of people. But when you make it a competition, it's stress on your body, stress on your mind, and it's 24/7. So sit there and imagine in life you're just trying to never think of a fun thing to do. That's someone working 60-hour weeks a normal job and never going on vacation, never treating themselves. It's how are you supposed to live life that way?
Right.
So at CrossFit for me, it's if I'm going to be putting in 40 hours a week of working out, I'm going to give myself vacation days. I'm going to have some freaking fun when I do it.
Yeah.
So I think 2 weeks ago, one of the clients here, he's a big beer guy. He was like, you know what? Let's do this workout. And every time we finish a row, you can't touch the barbell till you chug a beer. And I'm like,
oh, shit.
I'm like, dude, that's gross. Okay, fine, let's do it. I was like, you're gross. And like I finished like the first beer, and I'm like, all right, this sucks. So I'm like, why did I ever sign up for this? But it was like, again, so much fun. So now we're like having people like walking in, they're like, hey, can we do a beer mile coming up? And I'm like,
oh, boy.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
I love the initial hesitation you have, and then you're like, all right, I'm in.
I'm hammered.
That's always me, like here. Like someone would be like drawing up on the board, and I'll be like, ew, what is that? And they're like, oh, well, I just drew up this workout. I'm like, that is the worst thing ever. I will never do that. And they're like, so do you want to? I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. It's like,
twist my arm.
Yeah, you got me. So, yeah, that's just, like I said, if I take anything too serious in the gym, like I'll even have these guys come up to me and be like, dude, what are you doing? You know, like I'll put the bar down sometimes, strip it off and walk away and be like, I'll sit in a corner with my headphones on, just country, just anything to relax my mind and just be like, you know what? You got to go back out there and not care. Like, and that's when all the good things, like my 300-pound snatch, I literally had headphones in. I was pissed off and furious afterwards because I actually was like just so amped up. But before I was like, I need to just relax. I had country music playing in my ears, and I was sitting like the video doesn't show, but I'm like sitting like for like 5 minutes before it, and I was like, just relax. Like, there's no need to get like your head bobbing or screaming. I was like, you know, when you go out and scream, you always fuck up. Like you always like it's too much stress on you. So if you go out there and relax with it, you're just gonna crush it. So that's like my mindset. Like tomorrow I have a competition. Like my friends are like, well, what are you doing for eating today? And I'm like, I'm eating like my usual. It's like, oh, but you just had like that chicken and like the salsa. And I'm like, so like, I'll be good tomorrow. You're like, what do you eat tomorrow morning? Like I'll be like, oh, well, years before I couldn't eat during competition. Like the night before I would have to eat so much. And my nutritionist back then would be like, well, you throw up at competitions because you get so nervous. Like I got so much in my head. Like, they're like, so you can't eat those days. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Right. Now I like walk into competitions. I'm just so relaxed.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, do you just not care? I'm like, no, it's just another day training. Like, the next day's Sunday. You know, I'm gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, it was fun. You know, like it's those. Well,
there's this stigma that before a CrossFit competition or a weightlifting meet or before you're going to smash a PR or before a football game or basketball game, you need to get like hyped and ready to go and in the zone. And you need to get nuts and you need to get crazy. When in reality, like you were saying before, man, you're just putting your body in panic mode. Yeah, and you're not going to perform optimally. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, you know, you hear stories of weightlifters who are taking naps in between, they're taking naps in between their sets. And like you said, you were nice and relaxed. You had a 300-pound PR. Yeah. So it's taxing to do that on your nervous system. You know what I mean?
It's insane. That's like, you know, that's what we tell our like high school athletes and college athletes here. Like they'll be sitting there, they'll put their headphones in, and start like head bobbing. I'm like, that's great. Like if that's your key to mindset, do it. But don't start like punching walls and banging your head against lockers and be like, I'm so pumped, because you're the guy in the second half that's burnt out.
That's focus and energy that you could have used in competition.
Exactly. And that's one thing my wrestling coach in high school always taught us. Like, this guy was so calm all the time. And he'll be like, why doesn't he ever yell? And he's like, he doesn't need to. He'll give you so much energy just from how calm he is. Yeah. And you're like, wow, okay, like I'm that calm. And like right before you go on the mat, he'll like come up and then be like, go murder that guy. And you're like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I'm going to go crush this kid, you know? And like you get so amped up. But like literally the moment I'm walking on the mat, like he knew exactly like the mindset you needed.
Right.
It's like Jay, same exact way.
Right.
Every single practice we had, especially on the weekends, first thing we did, no warm up. Everyone lay on the ground, close your eyes. Everyone just relax. Focus on the negatives and throw them away.
Ooh.
Burn all the doubt.
Damn.
He always said that. Burn all the doubt, burn the questions. That. So it was like, wow, you know, like even thinking, like I got goosebumps when it happened. I'm still getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's like it's so right. Like take 3 minutes, just lay down. Don't worry about what you have ahead of you.
Right.
Don't worry about any of it. Think about what you have now. You know, you have the ability to work out 6 hours a day, every day, when no one else really does in the world. You get a chance to go to the games. Not many people say they can. And if you have any doubt about anything you've done or what you're going to do, just throw it away. Just think about all positive things. Think about today. You're going to have some fun. You're going to have the best workout you can do. And you're just going to be yourself. And next thing you know, like we had the best training days those days. And we did it to us during the games and regionals.
It's amazing, man.
So,
it's amazing.
Like I said, that first regional workout we had, that very, very first one, we messed up. He pulled us in the back and he was like, what do we got to do? We all relaxed. We went into the next day, and Austin was like, whoa, Milford took like second in a couple of those workouts. Relaxed again that night. He was like, guys, everyone just chill. We're right there. Like, we have it. Next thing you know, the next morning was like first place. And it was like, oh, we're going to the final workout in first place. We're like, oh, that's how it works. He's like, if you're relaxed, like all these other teams next to us were like dropping off. Like the teams that got first the first day were like 10th. It's like they get so amped up. And it's like, so from like, he's got to be like the biggest mentor for me, like especially in CrossFit aspect. It's just like, relax.
Keeping it relaxed and fun.
Know when you have to go, but don't burn everything out right off the bat.
Right. If you've ever seen, like, I've watched some videos of like Rich Froning being interviewed. How laid back is that guy?
Chillest guy ever.
Dude.
I've
like,
met him
even in workouts, like you'll never
chill.
see him like like making a pain face. He so relaxed.
Biggest thing. Yeah, so I've seen him at 2 competitions now in person. Like, of course, I watched him like all of them.
Right.
Wadapalooza last year was the first I saw him, and then at the games. And I just watched the way he was, and it's just like easy mindset. But then like I know one of the teammates, Lindy Barber, really well. I'm like, is he that chill like during workouts? She's like, no, not at all. She's like, you guys don't get to see like all that stuff. Like, he is the calmest guy before the matches, before the events. During the events, he's still calm. Like, someone messes up, you'll see like a little bit of anger in his face, but like nothing bad. But then afterwards, he'll be like, what the hell happened out there? Like, oh, we took third. He's like, no, that's not first. I absolutely hate losing. Never let it happen again, And it's like, it's all supportive stuff. It's like coaching stuff.
Right.
But then he's right back to calm. And it's like his energy level and that stuff. It's like, if you watch the film, it's now 3 years ago, his last year as an individual, he was going in the last day and he wasn't in the final heat. And the camera crew was in his face nonstop. How do you feel about it? And he's so calm about it. And he's like, I'm just going to go out there. And then you could tell like he's starting to get annoyed with them. Like, like he doesn't like opening up like that. Like, he's trying to just relax. He's trying to sit by a pull-up rig and just tell himself he can do it. And all he has is this doubt. Every question is doubt.
Right.
So eventually he got up and walked away. And, in a nice manner, but it's just what he has to do because that's his mindset.
You got to pull yourself out.
So that's the biggest thing,
absolutely.
like you said, though. It's like no pain face. No nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I know you got to get out of here, Chris, but just one more thing. So if you could give like a piece of advice or 2 pieces of advice to maybe someone who is a competitive CrossFitter or weightlifter or athlete or at all, or just someone who trains super competitively, as far as like keeping their training fun and relaxed, what's like maybe a piece of advice or 2 that you would give to athletes out there who maybe take it a little too seriously and a little too high strung?
Yeah, there's definitely those people out there, especially I feel as though the younger you are, the more like stress you're putting on your body for it. And the biggest thing I would tell everybody is patience. If you're not having fun, if you can't step back from a workout, if I walk into the gym, like I've done this to athletes before, if I walk in and I turn your clock off in the middle of a workout and it's just a regular training day and you freak out, why are you so high strung? Relax.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I would love to see the reaction.
People don't like that at all. But it's true.
Son of a bitch.
It's like, why the hell?
That's a great test, though.
It's like, how many other people are doing this workout? Oh, Michaela was doing it. Okay. They're like, I was going to beat her. Oh, okay.
And it's also, it's like they're giving gold medals out today.
Yeah, it's like
it's a training day.
I didn't know today was Christmas. I didn't know we were giving things out afterwards. It's like, it's not, that's actually kind of branching off that. Is not every day is a holiday. An Olympic lifting coach I worked with one time, he noticed I was stressing every time I missed a lift. And he came up to me and he goes, not every day is a holiday. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? And he's like,
I know, dude.
Why treat every single lifting day as if it's going to be your best day? He's like, Christmas is the best time, like for some people of the year. They look at it, it's glorious, you get everything you want. So why training days aren't supposed to be like that? You're supposed to have days where you wake up and you're like, I don't want to lift. Like, I don't want to do anything. Just go into it and treat it like a normal day at work. Get your shit done, then leave the gym afterwards. So you got to go into every day. Like, it's not a holiday. But if it is a holiday and you find out later on, it's like, wow, I PR'd like everything. Then great, you celebrated your holiday. Tomorrow's a normal day.
Right.
Like that.
So that's like, to be honest, a piece of advice I would definitely tell all the young guys. I always tell is, you miss a lift, you have an off day, it's great. It's not a holiday, just chill. So have some fun with it. And if you're not having fun, you got to take a step back, take 2-3 days off completely. Don't even enter the gym and tell yourself why you're doing it. So.
Word.
Yeah.
That's very wise.
That's
very
perfect,
wise.
man.
I like that. All right, before we go, where can people find you, like whether it be on the internet or...
They could always find me at Kris Kling, Facebook, Kris Kling, Instagram. I have an athlete page on Facebook and social media too.
And Kris with a K, right?
Kris with a K.
Kris with a K.
Kris with a K, Kling with a K.
Word.
And if not, I'll be at CrossFit Redzone or CrossFit Milford all the time working out.
Very cool, man. Well, it was awesome to connect with you and have you on. This was
Thanks
this
for
was an
having me,
awesome
guys.
episode. We definitely
Yeah.
want to have you on again soon.
Yeah.
And before we go, our social media,
Oh yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, at Strength Students Podcast, Twitter, at Strength Podcast. Go give us a 5-star review on iTunes.
And
Yeah.
thank you, Manchester Guitar Center, for all you do for us.
I really hope they hear this one day.
One day.
That's great.
Any jokes that you like to tell?
No, I'm not that good.
All right, well, F you, Chris.
Yeah, there we go. That one. All
All right, man. Well, thank you for joining us, Chris. We'll see you soon.
right, thanks, guys.
Take care.
Man, the joke thing, I would have came prepped. No.